Right now, a rally at the state capitol. Why state Democrats say Wisconsin is a leader on the labor front.
And we are continuing to sit underneath quiet conditions for now, but cooler weather is in the forecast along with some rain and breezy conditions. Details in just a few minutes.
Plus, confusion over the COVID vaccine, the conflicting guidelines on who needs to be protected against the disease. That's all ahead on News 3 Now at 5. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Today, hundreds gather at the Capitol for a Labor Day rally. Our Maddie Heimsch brings us downtown, where state Democrats call Wisconsin pivotal in the history of workers' rights.
Headlined by the Raging Grannies,
we want democracy,
and former chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, Ben Wickler.
We will make this the most pro-worker state in the union.
Unions, minimum wage, workers' compensation, and collective bargaining serve as unsurprising themes of the Labor Day rally at the Wisconsin State Capitol.
Wisconsin! What's Wisconsin?
Put on by indivisible Dane County, Madison's Workers Over Billionaires rally is just one of nearly 1,000 gatherings across the country this Labor Day.
Unions that organize workers are not only defenders of workers, they're defenders of democracy.
And for ralliers in Wisconsin,
how many of us were here in those Act 10 protests?
Demonstrating for unions' rights isn't new.
We were all here fighting back then because we knew the stakes and we know them still.
So while many rally against nationwide policies,
Wisconsin, the state with the first workers' compensation law, the first progressive income tax, the first unemployment insurance law, Wisconsin, the birthplace of publicly recognized public sector unions.
For state Democrats, the federal fight begins in front of the Forward statue.
This is the state that led the way.
Reporting at the state capitol in downtown Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. Now, with the Labor Day holiday, those living in Madison who have their garbage typically picked up today will instead have to wait until tomorrow for it to be collected. The Madison Streets Division says those who normally get their trash picked up on Tuesdays will not be affected. The city's drop-off sites will also be closed in observance of the holiday. All lanes are back open on the Beltline near Airport Road in Middleton after a crash this afternoon. It happened about half an hour before noon. Several squad cars from different departments responded to the scene. We'll bring you more information as it comes in. Madison police are investigating a weekend shots fired call on the city's far west side. Officers were called to the intersection of Mineral Point Road and Whitney Way just before 8 o'clock Saturday night. Numerous people were on scene and were located, but police say it did not appear that anyone was hit by the gunfire. We're told no arrests have been made. Anyone with any information in regards to the incident is asked to contact the Madison Police Department at 608-255-2345 or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014. We're learning more about a camper fire on Madison's east side. Madison fire officials say crews responded to a report of a semi-fire around 5:57 yesterday evening. However, once they arrived, they found a camper fully engulfed in flames. Fortunately, no one was injured, and crews were able to put out the fire about 10 minutes after arriving to the scene. A portion of Helgeson Drive was also shut down for the duration of the fire. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. And it's been not just a nice holiday weekend, but a beautiful one. But will those weather conditions continue this week? Meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us now with the answer. Blaze, what should we expect?
We should expect one more day of nice conditions, very similar to what we're seeing right now on our Edgewater sky cam looking towards the Union Terrace there on Monona Bay. Temperatures are very comfortable in those mid-70s. Dew points are low. That humidity at 44%. It is a beautiful afternoon. We've really been fortunate over especially today and yesterday. Plenty of sunshine, light winds, and low humidity. Notice that our winds are beginning to turn out of the south, so that means that we're going to start to usher in even warmer temperatures as we head over the next 24 hours. We are looking at maybe just slightly warmer temperatures flirting with the 80s for most of southern Wisconsin on Tuesday. We're at 80 right now in the Dell, 75 in Madison, 77 in Janesville, 68 in Mineral Point, 76 Boscobel into Prairie du Chien. We are looking at that patchy fog to return tonight, and Tuesday we are going to start off sunny, and then we're going to become more cloudy as we go throughout the day. So another comfortable night, low 50s, some of that fog popping up, maybe a few upper 40s as well. Things change as we go Tuesday night onwards. We're going to track out that system we've been talking about for the last few days and again touch on how cold we will be, especially on Thursday, coming up in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. State fairs in New York, Alaska, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Minnesota are wrapping up this Labor Day. Many fairgoers noticed steeper prices this year, while some organizers try to keep budget in mind, finding new ways to attack crowds. Lana Zach reports from the Heartland.
This whole experience is nostalgic for so many reasons.
State fairs are a summer staple for families all over the country, and this year, tradition is running up against sticker shock.
Some things are just way too expensive. We spent a lot of money here today.
Valerie Nelson and her family are regulars at the Great Minnesota Get-Together and noticed prices ticking up.
We just bought our kids standard hot dog and it was $7.50. So yeah, it feels a little steep.
Looking at last year's profits, the top-earning food vendor at the Minnesota State Fair hauled in almost $5 million. Some families set aside a slush fund.
We budget for it every year because we know we want to do it. Partially with this cookie jar. We just fill the cookie jar with spare change throughout the year.
We do hear from them all the time about the price of things.
In Iowa, State Fair organizers say they made the pocketbook a priority this year. They kept ticket prices the same as the last 5 years, included free events, and for the first time, dropped all rules against outside food.
We also look at how much food are people buying, how many rides are they riding, so those are telltale signs too of how well we're doing.
1.16 million people attended the Iowa State Fair this year, which organizers say cost more to put on because of inflation and agricultural sponsors tightening their belts.
He's in the record books.
Still, whether it's a giant gourd or grandstand attendance, records were set.
Nothing can compare to the Iowa State Fair.
Cheers.
And another year is on the books. Lana Zach, CBS News, Iowa City.
Iowa State Fair organizers say their research shows the average fairgoer's income is about $58,000 a year, a number they say they keep in mind to make family-friendly changes. While in Minnesota, fairgoers could take advantage of a $5 coupon book with discounts on food, merchandise, and entertainment. A new bus route is set to hit the road tomorrow in Beloit. The new east-west route is replacing the Gateway route and will run year-round. Fare prices remain the same, with new discounts for veterans and students. The city is also launching a fare capping system and introducing WISC-Go. WISC-Go allows payment via the UMO app, WISC-Go cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and credit and debit cards. Now, check your refrigerators. Taylor Fresh Foods is recalling its honey balsamic salad due to a possible undeclared ingredient. The company says the salad dressing in the kit is actually the Asian sesame ginger dressing, which contains 2 major allergens, sesame and soy. The best if used by date is up to and including September 4th. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported. Consumers should throw away the kit and get a refund at the store that they bought it from. New guidelines are creating confusion over how to get the updated COVID-19 vaccine. Many people may need a note from their doctor before getting vaccinated. The FDA's latest guidelines approves the shots for seniors and anyone older than 6 months with a condition that makes them high risk for severe COVID infection. Those people can walk right into a pharmacy to get the shot. For everyone else, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said on the social media post, you need to consult with a doctor first. But 16 states are also still waiting on CDC approval, which could come later this month. Health experts say this confusion was preventable.
There is no new data on safety and efficacy that would warrant a change in guidance. What's changed is the process. So instead of having a transparent, science-driven policymaking process, what we are seeing now is vaccine policy being made by political fiat and even being announced on social media rather than through normal processes.
Moderna and Pfizer both say their vaccines will be available in the coming days. It's also unclear if all insurances will cover the shots and if pharmacies will require proof of a medical condition. Ahead at 5, a mass held in Minneapolis after the nation's latest school shooting. Plus, could the National Guard be deployed in Chicago soon? The warnings from Illinois officials over the troops on the streets of the Windy City. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Thank you for staying with us. Over the weekend, Mass was held at Annunciation Parish in Minneapolis, just days after the shooting there took the lives of 2 school children. Across the city, ribbons wrapped thousands of trees and posts to send a message to hurting families. There were prayers Sunday at the Vatican, too, as Pope Leo addressed the faithful.
Our prayers for the victims of the tragic shooting during a school mass in the American state of Minnesota. We include in our prayers the countless children killed and injured every day around the world.
The Catholic Community Foundation is raising funds to support those impacted. No date has been set yet for Annunciation School to reopen. Expectations are growing that Chicago could be the next city to see National Guard troops in its streets. President Trump suggesting the Guard is needed to help eliminate crime, while CDC officials are expressing concerns over health security and Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's actions. Turian Small has the latest from the White House.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago.
At a Labor Day event, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson blasted the Trump administration's possible plans to send in the National Guard to the Windy City to help reduce violent crime.
We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago.
Before leaving the White House to play golf, President Trump posted on social media Monday praising the mayor of Washington, D.C., where he deployed National Guard troops and urged officials in Chicago and other cities to do the same. The Trump administration is also receiving new pushback in the wake of last week's shakeup at the CDC. Following the firing of CDC Director Susan Menarez and departure of several other top officials, 9 former directors and acting directors of the agency wrote an op-ed published in the New York Times Monday. The group of both Republicans and Democratic appointees raised concerns about Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s oversight of the department and the CDC, writing, quote, "We are worried about the wide-ranging impact that all these decisions will have on America's health security," adding, quote, "This is unacceptable and it should alarm every American regardless of political leanings."
They want to see Congress exercise its oversight authority over HHS, and that would include calling a hearing to interrogate Secretary Kennedy as to what is happening and why.
The CDC upheaval comes ahead of a meeting scheduled for later this month of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which makes recommendations to the CDC about vaccines. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Now to a look at your forecast. There's some cold weather on the way. After this Labor Day, Blaze Keller joins us now with a complete look of your first warn forecast. Blaze, what should we expect as we get out of Labor Day weekend?
Unfortunately, the nice conditions are going to be coming to an end. Tomorrow, though, is the last really nice day. Perfect for when we're heading back to school. The kids are heading back to school. We're heading back to work or school. Mid to upper 70s, probably a few low 80s out there as well. We're dry. We're going to have southerly winds, and we're going to have sunshine probably through at least the early afternoon. And that's key. If we get more cloud cover by the late morning, early afternoon, we would likely hang out more into those mid to upper 70s. But those clouds are going to really start to develop as we go further into the afternoon overnight, because that's when our next system starts to move on in. So as the kids are heading off to school and you're heading off to work, the low 50s, we're into those low 70s by about noon, further into those mid to upper 70s, if not a few low 80s by the mid-afternoon. That's when we'll go from mostly sunny to partly sunny. And then overnight Tuesday, lasting through probably Friday, it's going to be rainy, it's going to be cooler, and it's also going to be, at times, breezy as well. Some patchy fog will return tonight, but that's all ahead of a very nice day. And then let's jump ahead future track to later Tuesday afternoon. That's when showers and a few thunderstorms will start to move in out of parts of Minnesota as well as Iowa, as not the cold front, but not necessarily the warm front either. Just a little bit of rain moves into parts of Wisconsin as we go into early Wednesday morning. The cold front is actually going to move through as we go into the afternoon hours. Those winds now turning out of the northwest. This is likely when a lot of us across central and southern Wisconsin will see the heaviest rain. We will dry out as we go overnight Wednesday and remain dry for most of Thursday. Probably going to be a little bit more cloudier than what Future Track had there. And then another quick moving low pressure system brings yet another chance for rain as we go into early Friday morning. That wraps up by later Friday, I would say late morning, early afternoon. This second low pressure system is also going to bring us some rain, but it's going to reinforce the cooler temperatures that are going to really last until this upcoming weekend. So the dark green, that represents about 1/4 inch of rain or less. When we get into these dark blues and even these medium shade blues here, that's where we start to get to that 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of rain. So we're not looking at widespread heavy rainfall. This system is coming out of Canada. It doesn't have a lot of moisture to pull from. If it were coming out of the south, it would have all that moisture from the Gulf. This just is not going to be packing a lot of moisture. But again, what it is going to do is bring down some cooler air. Watch all that blue come out of Canada. Thursday is going to be the coldest over the next 7 days, and then we're going to continue to sit underneath this pool of cooler than normal temperatures because of that second low pressure system. We're not getting rid of these cooler than normal temperatures till probably the middle of the following work week. So it is going to be a bit of a taste of fall here as we go into the rest of this work week, especially Thursday. You're going to need that jacket. Upper 50s to low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night, and Saturday night, and Sunday night. So we got to stretch there some cool temperatures, but that following work week, we're back into the 70s. Again, we've talked about it, Jalen, a couple of times. I don't foresee what people call, that Indian summer where we just suddenly heat up or we stay warm for well into the fall season. What I do see is maybe mild temperatures returning. Okay. Some of our models do want to bring some snow to northern Wisconsin with this first system. Not like it's not going to stick around, but that just shows you how cold it is going to be.
Right. So we're almost doing like a 180 from what we saw not too long ago.
I mean, yeah, August, I was looking at the data. We got to 90 at one point, and then we got to 67 a couple days ago. I think Mother Nature's ready for fall. I am kind of ready with her. I don't know about everybody else. I'm not speaking for anybody else.
I mean, you can speak for me because I'm ready for fall too.
I think we have pretty much said goodbye to the dog days of summer. It was like a little puppy. It was here for a couple of days. Right. It was really cute. And now we're going to send it back to its owner.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. You heard him. Get the jackets out.
Yes.
Still to come at 5. Child walks onto a monorail track. How one man stepped up to save him. Terrifying moments at a Pennsylvania theme park had a happy ending when a man followed his dad instincts and scaled an elevated monorail track to save a lost child. Jeremy Roth explains in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch an amusement park visitor's so-called dad instincts kick in as he rescues a child seen stranded on an elevated monorail track. The dramatic moments unfolded at Hershey Park, an eastern Pennsylvania theme park. Video shows onlookers in a panic as the young boy is seen walking along alone on an elevated monorail track. As the witnesses shout commands at him, the child appears confused. That's when park visitor John Sampson says he went into dad mode.
Kind of like the dad instincts kicked in, and then it was just trying to figure things out and how to get up there as fast as possible.
Sampson was able to safely collect the child and bring him back down. WGAL reports the park said the boy had become separated from his parents shortly before he was spotted on the track, which thankfully wasn't operating at the time. Watch another tense situation get brought to a very swift end by a grippy law enforcement gizmo called the Grappler. Video shared by Michigan's Livonia PD shows an allegedly stolen vehicle having its rear wheel essentially lassoed, allowing authorities to slow it to a stop. According to WXYZ, its inventor says the so-called Grappler device is deployed from the front bumper, firing a high-strength net around the fleeing vehicle's wheel, tethering it to the pursuing vehicle.
Once it's engaged, typically within a few seconds, the pursuit is over.
And while the Michigan pursuit did end, the show did not. As the suspect vehicle continued to attempt to flee, its grappled axle was ripped right off the back of the car, which apparently was a first for the device's inventor.
I've never seen an axle ripped out of a vehicle.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Blaze is back with a final check of your First One forecast when we return. Parsons is now a Packer. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more as Parsons donned the number 1 today in Green Bay.
So Micah Parsons did his press conference. We saw all the coverage. You read all the coverage at channel3000.com. But Micah Parsons as a Green Bay Packer finally became reality today when we saw him on Clark Hinkle Field for practice in his number 1 jersey, which again, number 1 had not been issued to a player since founder Curly Lambeau wore it in 1926. So it's been 99 years since anyone has worn number 1 at Lambeau Field. Now, an important thing to note, both the NFL Network and ESPN reporting that Micah Parsons' back issue that was keeping him on the sideline while he was in Dallas, that wasn't just a negotiating tactic. He actually does have an issue with the joint between his 4th and 5th vertebrae. He may even need an epidural on Sunday against the Lions to be able to play. He was limited in his practice work today. He did not speak with reporters. We'll see what he has to say on Wednesday about that. But every expectation is that he will play. He passed his physical when the trade was made, so like it or not, and the Packers really like it, he is a member of this team. We'll have full coverage leading up to Sunday's matchup with the Detroit Lions right here at Lambeau Field and right here on Channel 3 throughout the week for free on channel3000.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, which gets you our Packers coverage delivered directly to your inbox every single day. That's it from Lambeau Field. Back to you in the studio.
Jason, thank you. So, Blaze, we had actually talked about this yesterday as well. We've been absolutely spoiled this Labor Day weekend with the weather that's going on.
You're welcome. Because I do bring only good weather. Any bad weather, that is another meteorologist's problem. Tomorrow is going to be another good day. We're flirting with the 80s. Kids are heading back to school. We're heading back to work. A little bit of some fog to contend with. We're in the 50s, but then by the time we're heading home, a little bit less sunshine, partly sunny. And again, we're in those 70s. And then the rain and the cooler temperatures move on in.
Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.